I'm going to start the call by letting the participants of the call introduce themselves. That might give us a little more time for other people who are not yet joined the call.
Sure.
So if you could briefly introduce yourself, your name, and the organization, that would be great.
Rosie Santana and Griselda Ortiz from the Policy Institute.
Amy Cooper and Jenny Aguas from LAUSD.
Sandy Mendoza for United Way.
Joanna from Inner City Struggle.
Rachel Bonkowski, LAUSD.
Ellen Pace, Los Angeles Education Partnership.
Bill Ring, Parent Collaborative, and Transparent.
Wendy Perez, Alliance for a Better Community.
Adrián Sandoval and Julio Mata from Maldes.
Maldes.
Eric Rivas with the Partnership for Los Angeles Schools.
Great. It sounds like we have a great group of people today. And my name is Oscar Cruz, Director of Community Engagement and Advocacy for Families in Schools. As you know, Families in Schools is a nonprofit organization based in Los Angeles that focuses on involving parents and communities in their child's education in order to reach lifelong success. So we've been very involved in the public school choice resolution process because we do see that there are opportunities for parents and communities to be involved in the education of their children. So we've partnered with United Way and LAUSD to coordinate this call. And basically the objective of this call is to inform community stakeholders of the next stage of the public school choice resolution regarding the applicant meetings that are going to be starting today, and they're going to be being conducted in the next couple of weeks. So I wanted to briefly go over the agenda. After my comments, I will ask LAUSD, either Antonio, if he's on the line, or Rachel, to talk a little bit about the objectives of the meetings, the structure, and dates, and any information that will help community stakeholders be able to be informed and participate and support the process. After that, I'm going to ask Sandy Mendoza from United Way to be able to tell us more about the moderators. Sandy has been helping in coordinating and selecting moderators who are going to be moderating the upcoming meetings. And finally, we'll have some time to answer any of the questions that you may have. And that would be the agenda for the day. Just instructions, if you would like to mute your line, you can press *6, and to unmute, you can press *6 again. The call is being recorded. As soon as we are able to finish the call, we're going to put it on the blog, on the Families in Schools blog. And the address for the Families in Schools blog is www.educationadvocacy.wordpress.com. It is also at the bottom of the emails that you've received, and after this call, I'll send more information about that. So let's get started with Rachel. Would you be talking?
Sure, yeah. Antonio is still at a meeting actually with parents, so he may jump on, he may not, so he asked me to step in. So I think what will be most useful is just to talk about the purpose of these meetings, and then just a brief outline of what the agenda is going to look like. So over the next 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks, we are having a series of meetings during which the applicants for the different sites will present their plan. And the real purpose of the meeting is for families, community members, other school members to come and to hear about the plan, and then also to have an opportunity to ask questions about the plans, and to just get ready for the advisory vote, which will happen the first week of February. So that's the purpose behind the meetings, is to hear about the plans. And the way that we have the meeting structured is that we have, thanks to the efforts of United Way, and there are many of the other organizations involved. I know that Oscar himself will be moderating one of these meetings, if not more. We have outside community leaders who will be moderating these meetings, and they'll start the meeting with a brief introduction as well as ground rules, just setting the tone for the meeting. And we have developed very detailed talking points, agendas, etc. for those moderators. And then it will go into a period of time for applicants to give their presentations. And applicant teams have 10 minutes to give a presentation about their particular proposal. And then the next applicant team will come and give a 10-minute presentation. During the time between presentations, so as the next group is coming to get their PowerPoint up or just to get ready for their presentation, parents will have already been given note cards to write down questions. Those questions will get passed to the moderator, and the questions will be filtered and sorted so that we have only questions, not comments, statements, the like. And then after all of the teams have had an opportunity to do their 10-minute presentations, that'll, depending on the site, it could take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, hour and a half. Then the moderator will shift the agenda over to a Q&A session. And the Q&A session will be the moderator reading through the cards, asking questions of each applicant team or of all the teams, depending on how who the question was written to. And again, the guidelines around that are that the moderator and the moderator alone is asking the questions, and that each applicant team has 1 minute to respond. If it's a smaller group of applicants, if there's more time during the agenda, the moderator may make a decision to allow 2 minutes for response. That rests in their hands and in their good judgment. At the close of the Q&A session, the moderator will do a brief wrap-up, and then we have an hour devoted for what we're calling an applicant fair. So what we've asked is that each site has tables set up for the applicant teams. The applicant teams will be at a table, have information at the table, and then families, other audience members will have an opportunity to go around to each table to ask further questions. So if for some reason not all the questions were able to be addressed during the Q&A because of time, or if parents felt shy writing things down, or for whatever reason, they will have a chance to talk to the teams individually during the fair. And then at the end of that hour, things will wrap up, and everybody hopefully will go home. So that is the purpose and the agenda of the applicant presentation times.
Rachel, in terms of how community organizations can help with the outreach, anything that you can tell them about that?
Sure. I was thinking through this because Oscar posed this question yesterday, I believe, and I think what probably makes the most sense and what is also the most accessible at this stage is that we have the presentation dates and times, as well as flyers for all of those presentations up on our website. And I've just literally within the last 10 minutes sent the link to Oscar and asked that he could send them out to all the participants of this call and beyond. And that way, for your specific community, your specific group that you work with, population that you work with, you can pull down the appropriate flyer and help to get the information out. And I guess I want to sort of highlight that it's not just, we're trying to reach a really broad audience. We want to reach the actual schools that are involved in this, such as the focus schools, but we're also reaching out to feeder schools and relief schools. And the flyers have that information on them. So take a look and think broad and see if you can help get the word out about these meetings.
Thank you, Rachel. Sandy, if you can talk a little bit more about your role in identifying and coordinating with the moderators and the role of the moderator.
Well, Rachel did a brilliant job of explaining the role of the moderator, I thought. So what we've been doing is trying to make sure that we were identifying community leaders that also had a stake in helping to see their communities and parents that they work with support and improve the school that has been targeted for one of the 36 schools under the public school choice. And this has been outreach to executive directors and heads of organizations, directors, programs, people who, as I said, have a stake. We wanted to bring this forward because we didn't want LAUSD staff and no, my apologies in advance if I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but because we just didn't want LAUSD people in front of the parents answering the questions, and because it might pose a conflict of interest, for one. Number two, we wanted the parents to feel comfortable to feel that this is a transparent process, and we want them to know that we want them to own this process. And of course, it's not perfect. We know that there's still some things we need to kind of work out as best we can, but we're learning and doing at the same time. So, but to give you an example, and I think Rachel already shared that Oscar is one of the moderators, for example, but maybe to give you a sense of who else has been invited, we have Audrey Diaz, and I'm kind of going down this list by no order at all. Audrey Diaz from Campaign for College Opportunity. She's the Director of Community Relations there. Maria Quesada, she's with CABE. I'm not sure how it spells out, but I think some people are familiar with that, with her. Araceli Simeon Luna from MALDEF. Kathleen Mooney from Families in Schools. Alicia Maldonado, she has her own PR firm. Christine Jerian, she's also with Campaign for College Opportunity. Alma Marcus, she was formerly with Green Dot and now has her own firm, so she's a consultant, independent consultant. Arturo Vargas, who heads up NALEO. Sandy Escobedo, she's an officer with the California Community Foundation. Joe Carcedo is the head of the Families in Schools. Adrienne Sandoval, also with MALDEF. Sandra Bryant, she's the head of All People's Community Center. She's been a long time advocate for school reform, but also heads up her own organization that's been around for a number of years in the central Los Angeles area. Bill Pitkin, he's an officer with the Conrad Hilton Foundation. Michelle Siqueiros, she heads up the Campaign for College Opportunity. That's just a few names just to kind of give you a sense of who has been asked. There's been others asked, and we're still kind of waiting confirmation. There were others that were also asked, but unfortunately the time didn't meet their schedules. So it's been kind of hit and miss because we've been working with the holidays too, so that didn't help. But again, like I said, we wanted to try and bring in the community at different levels, and this was a great opportunity for them to step in as moderators as opposed to having LAUSD people there.
Are there going to be, is it going to be the same group of moderators, or is there going to be a group per district, or how is that going to be handled? Because I hear a lot of families in the schools, the college fund, or whatever this organization is. How is it going to be set up?
So this is our transition to the question and answer, so thank you. And before you ask your question, could you
I'm sorry.
say your name and organization, please?
Sorry, it was Rosie Santana from the Youth Policy Institute. And my question was, how are the teams, or how is a group of moderators going to be, are they going to be at every meeting, or is it going to be different groups?
No, they're just at one school site, but because we have so many, and we started out with 39. Yeah. So I was looking for 39, which meant I had to get a pool together of maybe 50 or so names. And then we had to look at, and some of them bowed out because there was conflicts of interest. We made sure that they understood that if there was a relationship with an applicant or something close to that, that they agreed to bow out. So we tried to look for that. And so that kind of narrowed the pool. And so then we were then looking at between now 33 sites because some applicants dropped out as of yesterday. We still had some scheduling conflicts. So people like Oscar, actually, let me say, organizations like Families in Schools were helping to step up and campaign to add and give us more people because we were short on the right people, first of all, who can moderate, who can support this kind of conversation. And we weren't looking for just anybody, so it was kind of a slim pickings because we didn't have time to do trainings, and we certainly were looking for heads of organizations, but again, scheduling was a big issue because we were dealing with the holidays. So if we didn't get them then, it wasn't likely we were going to get them in January, for January. So these organizations stepped up and offered us additional people, including MALDEF, who also were being very, very helpful to provide us with qualified, capable people who can who know that these are serious discussions and want to facilitate in a neutral manner.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
It does.
They're not going out there just because they have nothing to do with the school or I mean, they really don't have anything to do with the school side, the meeting side, or the applicants. They're just there to help us out.
Sandy, I think that leads me also to think that we need to explain a little bit about who are the other individuals that would be present during the meeting. And I think, Rachel, you mentioned something, or Antonio mentioned something yesterday during the meeting with the applicants. Could you mention something about who else will be present at the meetings?
Yes, definitely. So because we want the moderator to be there as a neutral person, and we're also asking people to step into something, we wanted to then also have a team of people supporting the logistics of the evening. So at each site we have 3 local district staff that are in charge of things like passing out note cards, passing out all the handouts, making sure the electronic equipment works, those kinds of logistical items. And then we also have one person coming from the central office in LAUSD who's familiar with the public school choice process and will have a copy of the moderator's agenda. They are there as a backup. So in case something happens and the moderator there's some emergency and they're not able to be there, we have the central district person coming in as a backup. We hope that they'll be able to leave after the meeting starts, and that there won't be a reason for them to stay, but we have asked them to be there in case something goes wrong.
And I believe translation will also be available?
Yes, that's correct. We have translation services coming. We have been in contact with the local districts, making sure we have hopefully enough headsets to site. It is important to note that on the 20th and the 21st, we have 8 concurrent meetings going on across the district, and so our translation services are going to be stretched. So we're trying to make sure that we have that under control, but we know that may be an issue. Trying to think if there are any other logistics that are worth talking about.
Rachel, this is Ellen.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question. You didn't mention anything in the agenda about sharing with folks about the next steps in the process.
Right.
It seems a waste to not have parents understand that it's not just this night, but it's another.
Sure.
Well, so is there a plan for that information to be distributed as well?
Yes. So in the moderator's talking points, they will talk briefly about the advisory vote, and we also have a one-page informative, for lack of a better word, going out about the advisory vote at those meetings as well. We are hoping to have updated by the meetings this week an actual date for the vote, but we're still working with an outside partner to finalize those dates. However, on the one-pager, we do have website information where we'll keep people updated. We give them the general week of the first week of February, so we will be giving information about that process.
Great, thanks.
Yep.
I
I have a question. This is Joanna from Inner City Struggle. I know that students at high schools are going to be able to vote. What is going to be the process to educate them about the proposals? Or are they supposed to come to these?
Yep. I will have to, I don't have the information on that. I know that there is a subgroup working on that, and I'm not updated on that, so I would have to get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I have a question. This is Griselda Ortiz from Youth Policy Institute. I know we're supposed to have 300 copies of the one-pagers for the proposal. Are the copies are going to be at the tables for the fair, or are you guys giving out a packet with all the one-pagers for all the proposals to the parents at the beginning?
The one-pagers should be shipped out at the beginning.
Okay, thank you.
This is Joanna from Inner City Struggle. I had a meeting with our parents yesterday, and one of their concerns is that they talk to parents about the different proposals, and they don't know the difference between pilot, charter, and the different models that are going to be applying. Is there going to be a one-pager that just explains like the different structures?
We had not planned for that, but sounds like it might be a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
And Joanne, this is Oscar from Families in Schools. I would also recommend if you visit the website of LAUSD, LAUSD did develop a little bit more of an extensive brochure that talks about each of the models. So if you go to the LAUSD website, on the right-hand side it says Public School Choice, and once you go into that page, there's going to be, I believe it's called School Options Brochure, but if you can browse through the different links, and the brochure basically gives you different characteristics for each of the models.
Okay.
But it is a little bit longer. It's not a one-pager.
Okay.
Any additional questions?
I guess I wanted to just say that, as I think as Sandy mentioned, over the last 24 hours, because of the number of applications that came in was different than the number of letters of intent that we had. We're making some changes to the flyers, and I also just got notice that one of the phone numbers on one of the flyers is incorrect. So the flyers are live, but we are making a few changes. So if you're planning on pulling them down, I would say wait until 4 p.m. today or something like that, just to give us a little time to respond to these changes.
Any additional questions?
Hey, it's Amy. I guys, if this is asked already, the first of the community meetings is on Friday, is that right?
No, on Thursday.
Thursday. Can you talk about what, I know a number of different outreach mechanisms have been discussed. What were the outreach mechanisms that were used for the one tomorrow? Was there a connected message for that one?
I believe so, but I need to double check.
Okay. It would just be helpful so that we can identify any places where we could do additional outreach.
Okay.
Particularly for tomorrow and Friday, because as they're the first off bat, they're likely to have the lowest attendance.
Right.
Hello, this is Robert Lee, Local District 5. I had a follow-up to that. Hello?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just want to take it off mute. So we did our connected message for our meeting on Thursday and Friday. And we have flyers that are being given out to the parents. But was there supposed to also be a connected message from Superintendent Cortines?
That is my understanding. I know that yesterday the text for that was being worked out, and I just want to double check when it is meant to go out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So if there's no further questions, I think this brings us to the end of the call. Is there any other questions? Well, thank you, everybody, for participating in this meeting. I think that on behalf of Family Schools, we'd like to thank you and thank United Way and LAUSD for partnering with us and really trying to make an effort or including the community in trying to implement this resolution. So in the next, probably within the hour, I will send a follow-up email with both the link to the schedule of meetings and the link to the location with the flyers, and also a link to a location where you can hear the recording of this call, which you can definitely forward to any of your friends, colleagues, or anybody else interested in wanting to be informed about the implementation or the public school choice resolution and the upcoming meetings. So.
This is Rosie. You know what? I'm sorry. I do have a quick question.
No problem. Yes,
are there any restrictions for where we're going to be having a display table or being on the table to what to bring, what not to bring? Are there any restrictions? We do not want to get in trouble. We do want to make sure that we are also neutral in this whole entire process. So we want to be aware of are there any rules, any restrictions of what to bring, what not to bring, what to say, what not to say?
Yes, I believe that yesterday Ana Fernandez went over the restrictions during a meeting for all the applicants. Is that correct?
Okay.
Were you able to attend that meeting?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so I know for sure one of the restrictions is no gifts, like no candy, no free toys. We want to have what's at the tables that is directly related to the school that's being proposed.
Yeah.
So that's the restriction around what's at the table.
What's at the table? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you want to follow up with her, and just shoot her an email, and she can send over the materials from yesterday's meeting.
That will be great.
And if I could add, because I don't know if it was already covered, so sorry if I'm repeating this, but we also were trying to be clear last night, Anna, was to address the issue of translation, that it's all going to be conducted in the presentations are going to be done in English and translated in Spanish or whatever is necessary. And I think Rachel probably talked about the availability of translation people and devices. So with that in mind, because someone from the floor did ask, if they could do their presentation in Spanish, and that was Anna's answer. And also, the moderator has been instructed to be very, very strict about time, because we have maybe as many as 5 applicants at a table presenting. We want to make sure that there's enough time for all of them to take their 10 minutes to do the presentation, and they will be checking time on that. So we don't want to be disrespectful. We want everybody to have an opportunity to speak, so we don't want to give less time and more time to someone. So they're going to be equitable across the board. They're going to have their little stopwatches, and they're just going to do the best they can to keep that within control. And, of course, with a Q&A as well. So there'll be lots of time afterwards to have the parents or stakeholders spend time with the applicants and ask them direct questions. So I hope that that's all being clear.
Great. Thank you, guys.
And this is Jenny from Monica Garcia's office. I just had a question when talking about translation. Rachel, do you know if it's been confirmed that the meetings are going to be video recorded?
I don't know.
You don't? Okay. That was a suggestion, so if you can follow up on that. I know that we had informed Robert Alanis to do that.
Okay. I'm going to shoot an email and I'll copy you.
Okay. This is Joanna from Inner City Struggle. I have another question. I know that the Garfield meeting is the 22nd. Will you guys be announcing the Esteban Torres meeting on the 26th? Just because parents are going to end up having to go to both meetings to find out the proposals?
Yeah, we can. Sandy, are you still on the call?
Yes.
We can try to coordinate that just to make sure that particular moderator has that in their talking points.
Okay, the question is, are they going to inform the parents on the 22nd about the
Yeah, because I'm guessing the parents are going to have to be voting for both Garfield High School and Esteban Torres, and so they have to go to both meetings, one to hear at...
I think the one on the Belvedere is the site for the for Esteban Torres, right?
Yes.
And so for that reason, we have the same moderator handling both sessions, so that so I think that will be helpful too. But she will have that point in her talking point.
To announce the 26th?
Right.
Okay.
You mean the 25th?
Oh, it's going to be on Monday instead of Tuesday? I thought it was
Okay.
Tuesday.
Yes. Goes back
Rachel,
to,
it's 2 dates, right?
I thought they had concised it to 1 day.
it is going to be going down to 1 day.
Okay, so it's the 26th?
Yeah, we're just literally figuring that out today because of the number of applications.
Okay, so you're probably right.
Okay,
I haven't updated mine yet.
So the other suggestion is for the one on the 26th at Esteban Torres, for the parents that might not have attended the Garfield, to have the proposal for Garfield for them.
Rachel?
It's a good idea. If we can talk the logistics, we will do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I get clarification on that? So does that?
Oh yeah, Robert, that's a good person. Help us with the logistical issue.
Would that mean that then we would invite the applicants from the other school to have a booth, or
I don't think. I think.
Or the one-pagers?
I think the one-pagers is what we should say.
So the one-pagers would be handed out, for example, at Garfield for all the Torres proposals as well.
Right.
And then at Torres for the Garfield. But but as far as on site, you would only have the groups for that particular school.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yes. And we need to make sure that this is clearly communicated to those teams. Robert, just help. I'm making a note, but if you haven't gotten some communication from us in the next couple of days, let me know.
Okay. Well, what we'll do is we'll move. I'll let the internal teams. I'll notify them to at least make sure they have it prepared for the 22nd, and then you can let us know either way if we're going to go forward with it or not.
Okay. Great.
Oscar, thank you for hosting this.
No problem. Glad to help. I just want to make sure there's no other additional questions.
I guess I have one other, Oscar.
Yeah.
This is Rachel in LAUSD, and we are, thanks to the efforts of Oscar and Sandy and many of our partners, I think we are doing our utmost to make sure that these go smoothly, are well organized, that we're not missing things. There are a lot of moving parts, and we're doing this for the first time. So definitely feel free to reach out and let us know if you see things that could be better, both during this next couple of weeks, but I wonder even afterwards, Oscar, if we could have a phone call maybe sometime beginning of February, mid-February, just to kind of do a debrief about all of this.
Okay, I'll put it on my schedule.
Okay.
Yes, Amy, I just wanted to suggest that we consider doing a second call like this around the voting.
Yeah, we were definitely thinking about that.
That'd be great, because I think there will likely be a lot of questions.
Yes,
just
definitely.
by nature of what it is.
And I hope we could do, all of us really work at the parent outreach and education.
Correct. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining the call, and you will be receiving an email from me within the hour with the rest of the information and the link to all of the information that we referred to today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Oscar.
Okay, take care.
Oscar, can you give me a call?
Yeah.
Okay.